Okay, hold on, let me restart. Here we go. Sorry, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention please. About to start the show, better take your seats. It's time to let the curtain rise. We're gonna shake the room, we're gonna all night. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
If you think about it, you're teaching somebody new every 3 months your system of your entire company. And it can be so great to teach them, but at some point, like when you're trying to scale, you have to like step back and get your ducks in a row. And so I hired on Kaylee to just like help take care of inventory because inventory was growing. I needed somebody to help me pack the orders. I needed somebody to help me do inventory like every other week to see what I had and what I didn't have.
I actually applied via Instagram, like a DM, because she asked if somebody was hiring because it ended up becoming so much for her. And I was like in the process of figuring out if I'm gonna go back to my field or not. So I was like, well, love organizing, love organizing. So when she said that she was hiring someone for inventory to organize, I was like, that's perfect, that's definitely for me. Like I wanna do that. So ended up being hired, came in, she trained me.
Will was in the middle of getting all of his shop like figured out and done.
My name is Will Tucker. I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, studied aeronautical science there, and had an aviation career for a while, and got to close a few doors and opened a few doors, and now I'm lucky to be here working at Ladding Speed Shop, and it's just been an absolute blast.
So eventually, when I was in that big bonus room, I had like clothes folded on the ground at that point. I was like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I need a showroom space. And at that time, Will was thinking about opening this because he was the garage
We
was
both
not a place
outgrown the house.
We outgrew it.
So it is the day before New Year's, and I am here working at Will's shop. So my husband is opening a bike shop. So yes, we're both opening a shop at the same time.
You know, gotten a loan, he had gotten the space, and so my mind was just that I'm still gonna be working from home and I'll go work at Ladding Speed Shop, during the day, and if I need to go do a delivery, I'll go do a delivery. And then Saddle Creek happened. That, I didn't think, that happened very quickly. It happened within the span of 2 weeks. And when I put in the form to get like details on it, I didn't think twice about it. I just did it. And I went and saw the spot that I could choose from, and it was already set up like a retail store. We were literally sitting there at your parents'. You were on the phone with the loan officer or whatever, and I got the email for the details for the Saddle Creek thing, and I told them about it, and they were like, well, we're already doing Will, so let's just go ahead and do it. Might as well just do it. And I was like, okay. So from the moment I signed the contract to opening the doors was a week and a half. And I don't know how we did it. But going up to Kaylee being like, hey, Kaylee, so I know you're just like running inventory right now, but we're gonna open a storefront together. Are you in?
And then literally 2 weeks later, Shelby came to me and was like, hey, we're gonna open a pop-up shop. I'm like, great, just the two of us, so let's go.
I was really grateful that Kaylee stood beside me on that. I couldn't have done it without her. And Ashley, who is now my marketing manager, full-time, she was gonna be my spring intern.
I'm Ashley, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up in Cordova. I actually just graduated from the U of M, and I majored in fashion merchandising with a minor in marketing. I actually needed an internship to graduate with the University of Memphis, and I saw that she was accepting interns, which was super hard to do during COVID. There are not a lot of opportunities, so the fact that she was reaching out to students, it was great. And so I put in my application, and I went in to interview with her at her house.
I interviewed her in November right before we opened. I was like, hey, so I'm actually opening a storefront. Do you want to start early?
We hit it off right away, and so I started in November, and we were doing the pop-up at Saddle Creek, so I got to see the transition from everything being in her store, from her house, and moving it all there, which is such a cool experience to see that come to life.
Ashley came in, did an interview, and literally 2 weeks later, me, Ashley, Shelby, and her husband Will, we packed up everything, moved in boxes, and then moved to Saddle Creek. It was a lot of work.
And we got it running, and Ashley worked, she worked 2 months past what her internship was supposed to be. She's incredible. Learning to merchandise and I had to buy 10 times more inventory because, not 10 times more, but because I had a lot, but enough to fill a store. I took a loan from my in-laws on that one just to help me get on my feet for that. And that return's been done, which is great. So grateful that they were so gracious to help me out with that and believe in that.
I definitely believe that it had the ability to get as big as she wanted to make it. See it grow and see people really, I would hear all the time, people would be like, I love what your wife does, I love her shop, and that was always cool to see it grow.
When COVID hit, at the time I had 3 interns, and it was kind of getting into the, where it was really peaked, and so I basically told them, we're gonna have to, y'all have to stay home. I can't have y'all coming in for all of our sake.
The Safer at Home order was set into place about 4 days ago, and luckily we didn't have to close. Praise the Lord. I'm at the store by myself. My sweet gals is testing to see if she gets COVID. It's just crazy that this is the time we live in. Could have a shutdown starting tomorrow.
I had to go full on by myself, which was also hard because I had also entered a place into really high anxiety and a little bit of depression. So it was, and I didn't know how to handle that because I'd never felt that in my life.
My online in place, I think it just makes me really sad because I miss the human interaction, and I honestly don't want to go into a mindset of that I don't want to feel lonely.
Having to do that on my own and put my face on camera when I felt I'm, I don't know, it was really difficult.
That's the time that we're in right now, and it's a Sunday, and I extended my hours. I'm tired, but grateful.
If the Lord wants it to happen, it happens. So I would thankfully have moments where I could kind of get it together and work on it, and I would do, I would just basically, I took it from, I always wanted it to look really put together on stories and graphics and everything, and at that point I was just I just have to put myself on here and just do mirror photos. I couldn't even do photo shoots anymore, so I would snap photos on my phone in a mirror and post them as the product images, and I would just kick it on stories. I would do, new arrivals via stories on Wednesdays. I had to really change it up. But I think it made it more relatable, and a lot of more people could see me through it too. And so honestly, I think that's what helped push it into gear for the pop-up, because I saw that it was gaining more traction and people were conversing back and forth more with me. So it was, I don't know, it was nice. It was also nice to feel like I had that community there online, even though that we all couldn't be together at that point. I think it also helped me bring back my higher spirits to know that people believed in me at the time and that it helped me get through what I needed to get through. And then when I opened the pop-up, I think that really just brought me back to myself. Saddle Creek was an incredible experience. They were so wonderful to work with. I wanted to see if I could stay in that spot because I was like, I'm not going back to my house. Not after this. This was such a great experience. I fully believe that my pieces need to be seen. My vision needs to be seen. And it's all about a customer experience for me. It's way beyond just going in and picking out clothes. Like we love the moment that you come in, that we offer you something to drink, that we make sure that you feel like you're at home, that you don't feel like you're judged, that you can breathe, whatever it may be. And I wanted that to stay. So I called the leasing, and somebody had already put in a letter of intent for my space, and I had also found out the rent, and I was like, I don't know if that's plausible for me as a small business. But there was a peace that came over me, and I knew that I knew that there was a plan for this shop. It was so set on my heart that this is what I was meant to do, and that this shop was not mine. The shop was the Lord's. He's doing with it what he wanted to do. And so I just felt an immediate peace, like, okay, I'm just gonna enjoy every day that I have in this spot, and I'm just gonna trust that he's gonna take it somewhere. I get a message from my now landlord, being like, hey, we're doing this new development at Poplar Mendenhall. My wife has shopped with you, and she mentioned that you would be a perfect store to go there. Your experience was amazing. It's just what we're looking for. Made me feel so honored that, I was up to par, that I could do it. Or just that my experience had shown through. Like what I had built shone through to somebody that believed in me and wanted me to succeed and go further. So it came to me. And that's when I was like, that piece was there for a reason. I had one bay. I signed on as a lease for one of those bays.
I did it. I signed the lease.
I only had one door, essentially. And it was gonna be smaller than the space at Saddle Creek. And I was looking at it and I was so excited. And then, Brittany did the video for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm opening a storefront. Oh my gosh. But then the contract for the next one fell through. My landlord was jokingly being like, you may need that second spot because I had just launched the activewear collection. He's like, with all the new collections coming out. And I was like, is that an option? So knowing that I had a place down at the beach, I was like, let's go to the beach. We are also getting ready. We have our beach photo shoot next week. And right now we're in like 7-degree weather, and we still have not put together our photo shoot list. I started to get to know my interns at the time, Sophie and Ashley, who I hired both on at the time. I started to get to know them, and we had fun.
I'm about to go. We have one more lap.
Into the motion, we're exploding out of trouble inside.
Sometimes it's just hard knowing that like you're having to lead a team that's here in Memphis and then also do a full campaign day to night basically. And know that one of the biggest events that you could possibly hold at your shop at that moment was happening.
Owning a business has been some, not hiccups today, but things that can bring you down and be like, owning a small business is hard, but you just keep going. You just keep